Hi, Gary.
Hey, Andy.
Well, our first story is about the FCC rule change, and it sounds like you and I are going to trade places on this one.
I think so. It's on the front page of the paper, and I kind of get it, but it's pretty complex. So please help us understand this rule change and how it might affect this station in Greenbelt.
The money that goes to support the stations has been a set amount. They say that the value of the channel itself and other services that they provide can be deducted from that quarterly payment. So the amount of that deduction could be big enough that the funding essentially goes away. And this affects both the city channel, the municipal channel, and GATE as well, and we're the cable access and educational channel.
You know, it's hard to answer the question why, but why? What's a benefit? What possible benefit might there be here? I don't understand why the FCC would make a rule that could risk, you know, the public access cable.
Right. One of the FCC commissioners who voted on this thinks that these stations shouldn't exist at all, and he's been very open about saying that. The other thing is that who knows? I mean, they get to keep more money. The PEG fee remains the same on your bill, but they give us less. And why they would want to do that, we don't know. I mean, these are independent voices, but you know, their viewership is not huge. Doesn't make a huge impact, but they're still important voices. In Massachusetts, the stations there have banded together and spoken with their state legislators, where they will now get around this funding issue by taxing the telcos or increasing some fee from the telcos so that it balances out. So even if this rule change kicks in, they hope to be able to make it up, because now people are moving to internet. They'll charge more for internet access.
Okay, so I guess we put this on the front page this week because we see it as sort of a dark clouds on the horizon, but we don't exactly know the details. It could go in different ways, and so we're just going to watch and wait.
Correct. There are a lot of things that we just don't know, and that won't be apparent for maybe a year. The biggest hit will be when the telcos give a value to our bandwidth to the station, and that is the part that could eliminate our funding greatly. But that also won't be determined for another year.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you. So council met with developers who want to do a sort of multi-use, multi-family, higher-end development right near Capitol Office Park, right?
Right. That's right. Near Cherrywood Road and Ivy Lane. So yeah, and so the good news is that the group is meeting with council and talking to them, trying to get their buy-in, explaining what they intend. So that's the good news. Who knows, the not so good news, because the meeting was a little contentious, or at least some council members were a little concerned because some of the issues they want to see with new housing developments in Greenbelt were not there. So what the builders are proposing at this point is basically high-end apartments with amenities, is the best way I could put it. You know, hot tubs, a dog park, all kinds of features for the people who would live there. But no playground, and that was a big concern for council, for Rodney Roberts especially, pointed out that our city is known for recreation, and to have a new development with no recreational equipment is not in step. It's not in line with what Greenbelt is. But also there was concern about child care. Right. You know, you bring so many people in, plus an existing need for child care. Why no child care? Why no facility for that? And then also retail. Not only will you have more people living there in those apartments, those condos, but also there's people working in all those office buildings around that area. Right. So, you know, those are some of the concerns.
Right. I guess the construction company said that they had reached out to some retail, but you know, they reached out to like Dunkin' Donuts, and they said no. It doesn't fit. I mean, I guess they're also saying that the retail market is just not a good time.
Yeah.
It seems like a kind of desolate place, too.
It does. It's what it has going for it, and they were very clear about this because a vast percentage, 80% of what this company builds is near metro stations, is that it's so close to the metro. Easy access, that's a great selling point. So I think this was some tug of war with the company wanting to focus on what they wanted for their profit, and with the council pulling in the other direction, saying what fits the community in terms of affordable housing was something else that was raised. To have high-end housing, already there are Greenbelt teachers, other Greenbelt employees who can't afford to live in Greenbelt.
Right.
They live outside and come here to work, and so just keeping an eye on and trying to manage as best you can the affordable housing issue. So
how much influence does our council actually have on this?
the way I read it is not much. In a sense, I'm not sure, except for issuing some permits, I'm not sure that really the city of Greenbelt can give a final yay or nay. That's how I read it. That this was more, look, we're talking to you and we want to work with you, we want to have a good relationship, but this is what we have in mind. That's my take on it at the moment.
Right, and at least they're still talking now. Right?
At least they're talking. At least it's still cordial and still, communicative.
Finally, the ROTC did something over at Roosevelt.
Yeah, and in a way you might look at this and say, why is this a news story? On 9/11, the junior ROTC at Roosevelt had a ceremony recognizing those who died in 9/11, first responders and the victims themselves. And okay, great. You would expect that, right?
Right.
Well,
right.
what's touching to me, and what we mentioned in the story, is that those junior ROTC people doing that honoring, they weren't around, or they were little babies or not born on 9/11. This is a tradition being carried on, a memory that's being brought forward, and I think that's the news, and that's a great thing. It's important.
It's a touching thing that they did. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very much.
Thanks for wrapping up the week for us.
Thanks, Andy.